Welcome everybody to tonight's VSGaming Premier Division match. We are going to have Goliath Gaming versus ATK.unIdentified, and this match might just blow your mind. Both teams top of the logs, fighting for second place at the moment, as we do have Eden well deserved in first position, but both these teams are not going to be giving anything up going to tonight's match. Just a quick look at what these teams are bringing to the table in their rosters. Team 1, Goliath Gaming. The main tank that you know and love, Z-Lord, absolute champion on the Reinhardt. Severin, moving in on the off-tank on that diva there. Mito and Lavius. Mito, very well known in the scene. But moving over to Goliath Gaming from 8-Bit Oddity recently into this league. And Lavius, a new pickup, a GM Widowmaker player. Very exciting to see what he can bring out tonight. Lagbeast, Pac-Man, support duo that has been around for quite a while for Goliath Gaming, and they have been putting up some very good results. Can't wait to see a few sleeps there, Pac-Man. Looking over to ATK.unIdentified, which we've seen quite a lot of this leg. Shapeshifter in the main tank, making the space for his team like never seen before. Dizzy actually moving from support at the moment over to the off-tank role. We'll have to see how that pans out for them, as we do see the DPS duo that I talk about non-stop, Squishy and Sponge, bring it to the table once again. And Michaelele and Chad just evening out their roster over on the supports. Michaelele just playing as another DPS really on the Zenyatta, and Chad sticking to the support role on the Honor. We'll have to see if he can show Pac-Man up. And moving over to the maps, our first map is going to be Nepal. Teams are currently readying up, as we're going to be moving over to the first control point of the night. Nepal, interesting map. And here we have teams readying up. So, talking about Nepal, of course, said interesting map, just left it there. The different types of maps we have is Sanctum, which, much to what you guys can't see at the moment, is what we have. So let me talk about Sanctum before I talk about the other portions of this map. So now over on Sanctum over here, control points, you have to hold the center point. It's a King of a Hill style map. Whichever team gets to 100% first does take the match. If we look at where the teams are going to be coming from, both teams have symmetrical sides to move in from the dropship through the archway, and they have a few selections of entry points onto the point over here. Thing to know about Sanctum, this massive chasm, gap, hole, whatever you'd like to call it, allows for environmental kills. If you manage to displace your opponents and throw them into that hole, you're going to be able to pick up a lot of value at a very small expense from your side, and that can often throw you the win for a fight, which is extremely important to watch out for. Both teams opting for the Orisa frontline main tank. So having that ready to go, that allows for, as I just said, environmental kills. Goliath Gaming opting for Mito over on the McCree for their DPS lineup, alongside Lavius, who is on the Ashe, the latest character that has been entered into Overwatch. We haven't seen much play from it just yet into the African scene, but Sponge is actually matching this on his Ashe as well. We'll have to see who has mastered this character first, but a massive anti-nade lands onto Sponge quite early, and the entire team not looking too healthy there, as they're going to have to back off. Control point unlocking soon. Goliath Gaming playing nice and patiently on the point. Both are with the shield. The first one does go down, and Squishy displaced by the health from Z-Lord. That was not defense matrix from the side of Dizzy. Right now, Goliath Gaming looking a little bit favored in this fight. Their shield is keeping up, and Unidentified having to back off a little bit. Lots of damage being applied to them on a wide space. Their poking is absolutely fantastic with Lavius on the Ashe. They're taking a lot of damage. The Sponge still wants to try and find some sort of picks. Not able to get them just yet. Z-Lord, Supercharger ready. That's going to be great for the fight coming up. Oh, he's hoping for another big halt. Doesn't manage to get anyone this time. And it's quite an interesting one. It's a lot of poking, and there's not much initiation just yet. Although, as I say that, Lagbeast, as well as Pac-Man, just run forward to take out Squishy before he's able to properly get into the fight. Looking at Unidentified's composition here, opting for the triple tank rollout and still getting anti-naded with it. This nerf onto D.Va's defense matrix, making it a little bit tricky for Dizzy to adapt, change his playstyle a bit. The extra cooldown makes it a little bit more difficult to eat up the projectiles you need to. And look at that dynamite landing there, getting Pac-Man and Z-Lord in the AoE. Keeping them off the anti-nade. Sponge needs to find a way to make something happen. But here Bob comes out, goes through the shield. Hopefully going to find something, but Lavius has another one on his side. High Noon comes out of Mito and finds a pick onto Chad, making it very difficult for Unidentified to actually move into this fight. And Goliath Gaming looking very strong as they tick over 70%, having Unidentified run away in this situation. Mito getting cheeky, looking for more. Doesn't manage to find a Squishy, healing up quite a bit. But right now, Goliath Gaming must be feeling pretty good about this. Uncontested so far at 85%. Team composition change coming in from the side of Unidentified. Shapeshifter onto the Reinhardt. Squishy staying on the Roadhog. Dizzy moving over to the Zarya. Not having any ultimates in the bank. Very deadly, especially with Transcendence dropping here. 99%, and they are not able to touch it in time because of the sleep from Pac-Man over onto Squishy. So Goliath Gaming looking very strong over there on Sanctum. We're going to have to see if they're able to apply the same as we move over to Shrine. Very dominant performance. Unidentified weren't able to get past the poke phase in those fights, and they need to find a way to do that. Looking at the compositions that we might see coming out of the gates here. A Far Mercy combo with Mito and Pac-Man on the side of Goliath Gaming. Lavius potentially going with a Tracer, which is not something we see all too often over on Shrine. Side of Unidentified want to get cheeky. Squishy moving over to the Reaper, who recently received a buff where he gets 50% lifesteal. That means half of all the damage you deal is going to be returned back in health. That's extremely powerful, and look at him leading the charge. Z-Lord looking very low. Having the Reaper in your team allows for a lot of damage being applied to the front line. Mito's so low, and Sponge is trying to chase him down on his signature pick with the Hanzo, but he's going to have to back off here. He's trying to find Lag Beast. Doesn't look like he can, but Squishy finding Z-Lord makes it quite difficult for Goliath Gaming to move forward. Mito gets knocked out of the sky from Squishy and Shapeshifter. And right now, Unidentified are looking a lot better. Pac-Man managed to get the res, but gets taken down due to it. Mito's in the sky, hoping to get the value that Pharah gives against this composition. Something that makes Pharah quite strong here, being able to get through the large amounts of health. Severin jumping off after the D-Mech, trying to just get the reset. Unidentified favored on the point here, but it's not all out just yet for the side of Goliath Gaming. If they can put in a smart push, which Mito playing very low to the ground, he wants to make sure Squishy uses up his Wraith as soon as possible, which he has. So now there's no more defensiveness coming in from Squishy, but look at that shadow from Shapeshifter, knocking down not one, not two, but three to allow them to move forward here. Dizzy also getting quite a lot of damage in. Sponge ending the fight with his picks, and Pac-Man trying to get extremely cheeky with the reses there, but Shapeshifter just slamming down the hammer, not allowing that. Death Blossom ready for Squishy, getting the projected barrier over from the side of Dizzy to make sure he doesn't take any damage. And interesting here so far, very one-sided towards Unidentified, which we saw over on Sanctum, but towards Goliath Gaming. Mito in the sky getting damage boosted, has Rocket Barrage ready. They have to be aware of this. He wants to get, oh my word, he finds Squishy instantly, but he gets slipped out of the sky. Shapeshifter tries to get a charge in, doesn't manage to pin anyone, but does manage to displace them just enough. Pac-Man's going to be able to get the res over onto Z-Lord. He can start moving forward, but we do see the nano boost moved onto Shapeshifter. He's trying to get some damage, and there he goes, takes out Severin. Manages to also block out the self-destruct. That's going to be quite hellish for the side of Goliath Gaming to get through, especially with the Graviton Surge picking up 3 in the Death Blossom to follow it up. Oh my word, Z-Lord on his own running scared, and it looks like this is going to be Shrine going to ATK.unidentified. Interesting seeing the way that the different team compositions played out over here. The Hanzo Reaper composition working extremely well in favor of Unidentified, that not even the Pharah over on the side of Goliath Gaming could break through. Now, moving on to the tiebreaker for the first map on Control. Both teams neck and neck. I'd say this is actually exactly even, seeing as they both finished their previous portions of this map at 100% to 0. Village is where we see what actually separates the great from the greatest. Sponge over on the McCree, alongside Squishy on the Mei. You often see a Mei Goat's composition, often known as Snoats, but now opting to swap out the Diva for the McCree to get some value. Mito over on the Genji, but he's actually caught out, manages to escape. Just no! Sponge takes him down. The accuracy on this man is insane. I say that as he misses Severin about 3 different times, but their team still managed to dominate that fight. Looking extremely good, capping the point first. It seems like ATK.unIdentified are favored in the brawl compositions. They want those long duration fights, and it doesn't seem like Goliath Gaming are ready for that. Mito swapping over onto the Hanzo. And Lavius now on the McCree. He knows that he needs to utilize this flashbang, or at least find a way to duel Sponge. A little bit of a struggle, especially with the ice wall coming up from Squishy, not allowing them any entrance, delaying them. Interesting on King of the Hill maps, or Control as it should be stated. Delaying the point is actually quite a solid tactic, just getting some more percentage up there. Mito wrapping around, and Unidentified. Squishy's ready for this. Now they need to find a way to actually enter into this correctly, as 4 of them separated from the rest of the team. Pac-Man not able to get any healing in. Sponge getting a headshot, but can he follow up with a flashbang and a kill? Lavius not looking too healthy there. Lagbeast ends up going down first to Squishy. Right now, Z-Lord looking a little bit scared. He doesn't want to move forward just yet, but he is on 70% towards his ultimate. If he can land the Earth Shatter, which right now, bit of a struggle as some more of their players do end up going down. Definitely where Severin can start showing up. 72% charge, getting a lot of damage, and that wall stopping Z-Lord's charge as he does get nano boosted. He wants to move into this fight now. He does take out Shapeshifter as well as Dizzy. Squishy is on his own alongside Michaelele, but they just want to stall it out a little bit longer. Lagbeast, a little bit too strong for Michaelele. Compositions I don't think need to change here. Ultimate usage looking quite good from Unidentified, as they are going to be coming up on 5 of the ultimates for this fight. Blizzard from Squishy, going to allow for a lot of combo potential, especially if Sponge can land the High Noon, get a few instant kills off of that. But Mito and Severin do have the Graviton Surge Dragon combo, if they can utilize that, and here it comes out. There's the Dragon Strike, but Sound Barrier comes in from Michaelele, keeping the team alive. Earth Shatter comes down from Shapeshifter, not finding the right targets they need. Blizzard comes out from Squishy, but it seems like it's still quite an even fight, as the point does tick over to Unidentified. Sponge not able to do enough here, as Mito wants to deal with it. Shapeshifter goes down, and the point is actually going back to Goliath Gaming. 83% to 30, as Goliath Gaming has the point ticking up for them. Nepal neck and neck at the moment. They need to find exactly what it is to break through Goliath Gaming's defense, although they're below on the percentage. Right now, all 5 ultimates that were ready for Unidentified were utilized. Dizzy coming up soon, but Lavius defended there, uses the High Noon, but gets shielded. Shield won't have much health, gets a stun, but Squishy's Ice Wall not allowing any entrance or any action off of it, as Z-Lord charges in, gets a pin on Shapeshifter, but ends up going down shortly afterwards. Dragon Strike comes in from the back from Mito, picking up one, allowing for Lavius and Severin to pick up some more, and Sponge is the only one left on the Tracer. He needs to find a way to actually get this, and he doesn't manage to do it. Goliath Gaming pulling this out from underneath the overtime for Unidentified. Bit of a struggle. Dizzy still has not made use of that Graviton Surge. If he's able to use it correctly with his team here, they're going to find the entrance to cause for Goliath Gaming to exit. Pac-Man ready on the Nano Boost. If he can land a strong anti-nade. But a grenade. Oh, it gets walled off. This is not what he wants here, especially with the wall managing to take Z-Lord so low. Here comes the Graviton Surge. They're all playing on point, but Earth Shadow from Z-Lord comes out. Shapeshifter cracks back with his own one, not being able to pick up the kills, gets a pin on to Severin, not allowing much more from that. Z-Lord comes in to clean up, as right now it's only Squishy on the point. This is just so harsh, as right now, the point's stolen away. Michael wants to get in there and slow it down a little bit alongside Sponge. Sponge picks up Pac-Man, but the Dragon Strike from Mito not allowing anything more. Shapeshifter moving over to the Wrecking Ball, but Severin is actually doing the same. He's mirroring him, and he's not able to last very long. Overtime ticking away. Chad's now on the point, manages to avoid the pin, but Z-Lord comes in to finish that one. Dizzy, Nano Booster on the point, but it's not going to be enough unless we can see some picks coming out, and that's not the situation right now. Blizzard over on the point. Michael the only one contending, and Mito absolutely popping off on the Hanzo with the triple kill to end that one off, as Goliath Gaming take Nepal as the first map of the series.
Play of the game.
Well deserved to Mito getting the play of the game here. Oh, look at that Dragon Strike. At 55%, pulling it out from under the rafters, pushing Unidentified to overtime, allowing for them to try their best. Not quite able to get it all out there. So now, it's a choice between Dorado and Route 66 for the side of ATK.unIdentified. Off the back of them not making it through Nepal. Goliath Gaming putting up one hell of a fight there, knowing exactly what they need to do and which compositions to use. Very impressive display from the lads of GG. Definitely making the MGO quite happy with that one. Soon to see what map 2 is going to be between the two teams. Discussions coming out. I must say, just looking at the fight there, there's so much on the line for both of these teams. And coming out with the Mei that Squishy brought to the table, it did so much for them. But Goliath Gaming, it looked like they've definitely practiced against their composition. They were quite patient with the walls coming out, being able to play with it and against it to allow for them to take that map. Looks like map 2, our escort map for the night, is going to be Route 66, Western inspired map. Quite an interesting one because each point quite different depending on what is happening, which compositions you want to go with. Not too sure what we're going to be seeing from these teams, but please expect some Widowmaker play coming out. Can't wait to see either Squishy or Sponge on the Widowmaker. They do interchange from that role in the team composition. But up against Lavius, the out-of-nowhere Grandmaster player that has been sitting in South Africa for quite a while, playing on the ladder as much as he can, getting picked up by Goliath Gaming. Hopefully he can show up. Over to Route 66 we go. Over Route 66, Big Earl's Gas. Over in Deadlock Gorge. Looking at the side, Panorama Diner, where the attackers will be exiting to fight against the defenders. Here's the payload that they're going to have to start pushing. And here's the first choke point, so to speak, that they have to get through. Once they get this, the high ground over here, utilized by defenders, makes it quite difficult to push through the first point, especially with the winding bends that you see in the road as we get over to our first gate for the first point. Moving over, more high ground for the defenders to use, allowing for quite a few pincer tactics to take place as we move over to the second point. And after that winding road, moving over to the start of the third position over here, long angles that can be taken up by both the attackers and the defenders as we move to the third point. But taking a look at what we have from the defenders here, Goliath Gaming opting to stay on the defense. Lavius hoping for early shot, doesn't manage to land it. Needs to find a way to deal with it. Composition-wise, sitting on the Widowmaker and the Genji for their defenses. And on the attack, Sponge. We've seen it before and we'll see it again on the Sombra, hoping to get into the backline. Disable a single target, deal with them, but not quite able to get it here. If he can take out Lavius, this could be huge. He manages to do it. Squishy extremely low, doesn't get taken out just yet, and Pac-Man's next on the chopping block, but Severin and Lagbeast make sure that both DPSs of ATK.unIdentified do end up going down. That is a 2-for-1 trade for Goliath Gaming, which allows for them to push more aggressively over here as they do start moving forward, keeping ATK.unIdentified off the point. Looking at ultimates though, Mito, Z-Lord, very close to Dragonblade as well as the Earth Shatter. On the side of Unidentified, Chad on the Honor, very close to the Nano Boost. Dizzy, actually just trying to get his mech back in this situation. Very difficult to manage sometimes if he's going to be able to do it. Only at 56% right now, and ooh, if he got hit by that, it would have been absolutely detrimental. Lavius gets pick a Michaelele, but the crackback comes in from Squishy. Mito wants to find some more, but Squishy's on his own there. Not allowing for ATK.unIdentified to push much further, as they do have to back off. Z-Lord in the front line, picking up one. Probably not going to be able to pick up another, but definitely makes them back off in the situation. Sponge over on the Sombra needs to find a way to deal with the problematic targets. Seems like at the start he wants to go for Lavius once again. Mito probably watching his back here. Has the Dragon Blade ready. Oh, a very nice dive coming in from the side of ATK.unIdentified, moving Mito off, not allowing for any defense, but here we go. Shapeshifter popping the Primal Rage, and the EMP comes out as well. Z-Lord throws down the Earth Shatter to make sure that something can happen, and it seems like ATK.unIdentified are actually just rolling through this one regardless. Z-Lord not being kept alive any longer. Shapeshifter gets pinned but does not go down in that fight. Thought Goliath Gaming were possibly going to be able to turn it around at a point, but as soon as I saw the EMP from Sponge, that was pretty much it. Earth Shadow from Z-Lord does come out, but does not do enough. Sponge potentially looking for Lavius once again, but Mito comes with the Dragon Blade. He's also nano boosted. This is the combo that everyone knows and loves. They're going to start moving forward. Can he take out the next target? And Squishy goes down as well as Lavius picks up 2 underneath the Dragon Blade, creating space for him on the Tracer. Lagbeast ready on the sound barrier. Only ultimate for his team right now, as Squishy and Chad do have their own Nano Blade combo. They're hoping to probably get a pick before going in with it. They don't want a sleep to happen or any form of anti-nade. Moving in, Goliath Gaming getting a lot of position. Squishy going out in his own skirmish, but Lagbeast throws down the sound barrier. Pac-Man still ends up going down. Severin's looking low, but he is not down and out just yet. Does manage to find him. He needs some more though. Lagbeast looking low. Rest of his team following up very nicely with his dash resets. Lavius looks low, manages to get out of that. Z-Lord lands a shadow, but it's not going to be enough, as Mito and Lavius are taken out shortly after. Dizzy landing a very cheeky bomb, making sure that an approach from Goliath Gaming is not possible. As they move through second point. Squishy still on the Genji, knowing that it is working for him. Needs to find some more. Mito, someone he needs to deal with, as Mito did get a lot of value out of it. 2.5 minutes left on the clock for the defenders. They definitely feel quite happy about, especially with the ultimates coming out. Mito does have that, but look at that EMP completely denying the value from Goliath Gaming, although they do pick up 2 as well as a mech. Shapeshifter popping the Primal Rage to make sure that they can keep this fight alive. They did have the advantage. They need to keep it together, as Squishy finds Pac-Man. Severin on his own here. Right now, Shapeshifter doesn't want to let him escape, but he does manage to just get out by the skin of his teeth. Lagbeast moving back. Lavius Chill's trying to find some picks on the Tracer there. Having a bit of trouble with the way that Unidentified are playing together. Lots of damage goes on to Shapeshifter. If he can find him, it's going to be massive. It doesn't manage to do it. Sponge on his own here on the high ground. Finding a hack onto Lagbeast. He's not going to be able to utilize his kit correctly here, as Sponge finds another angle, whilst the rest of his team just falls. Stall coming in Baby Diva for Dizzy, being kept alive. Good strategy. Makes it quite difficult for the side of Unidentified to get the mech back and fully utilize defense matrix or any sort of ultimate charge to build. Mito backing out. Squishy gets nano boosted. Pops in with the dragon strike. Gets lag beast. Tries to find some more, but he's getting thrown around a little bit. Only finds one, but Mito cracks back and takes out Shapeshifter as you see Michael pop. Oh my word, that is shadowed on 2 players. Z-Lord needs to find a way to take them down. And he charges one, but he's going to end up going down, or is he? Not too sure just yet. Chad looking low on the point. Goliath Gaming managing to keep the defense. 40 seconds left on the clock. There's only going to be one more for the side of ATK.unIdentified. But I think if Sponge is going to be able to do anything about this, that is going to be exactly what they need to turn this around. If he can get into the backline, if he's going to be able to get some value out of his EMP, needs to make sure he's not detected. 93%. Getting very close to it. Does not have anything to combo with it though. And Severin looking quite pretty with the Graviton Surge as well as the Pulse Bomb. Definitely a very nerfed combo, but can still work for them. There's the EMP that comes out, keeping them off of any of their abilities. Michael on his own on the point. 3 seconds left. Don't C9. Make sure you're near it. Shapeshift pops Primal Rage. He wants to make sure he's right on that, as we do see the kill feed lighting up a bit. The positioning from ATK.unIdentified, making sure that they're able to keep the fight alive as they move into overtime. Very nicely played, but a lot of patience from Goliath Gaming, making sure they're not using their ultimates haphazardly. Mito, Dragon Blade does come in. Can he find something out of it? Because he's taking a lot. He actually gets slipped. Oh my word, the sleep from Chad, not allowing them much. Dizzy comes with the self-destruct to make sure they can't contest the points as much as they want to. And now it's only 2 of Goliath Gaming. Severin's going to come in, but he doesn't have much charge. Projected barrier onto Z-Lord to keep him alive a little bit longer, but Lag Beast 14 health per second is not going to be enough, as 6 of ATK.unIdentified shredding through the ranks of Goliath Gaming and building up some lovely L-Charger. Sponge is ready to go with another EMP alongside a Dragon Blade Nano Boost combo coming up in absolutely no time as soon as Squishy manages to get his ultimate up. Mito wants to play aggressive, makes it a little bit difficult, but Squishy on 90% now. Severin having Graviton Surge, not using it previously. I think that was a bit of a misstep, or he was pressured out of position. Here it comes. Oh, Pulse Bomb comes up, but they don't manage to get too much. Z-Lord Lavius actually manages to get some picks here. 50 seconds remain. There's still going to be another push for ATK.unIdentified unless they get a massive stagger. Dizzy does end up going down. Squishy gets out. They're going to have to wait for the respawn timer from Dizzy before they get another approach over onto the point. But I've spoken about it just a moment ago. Dragon Blade combo coming in from Chad and Squishy will be able to shred through the team, especially alongside the EMP. This is a combo that ATK.unIdentified love using, and there's a good reason for it. There it comes. Oh my word, Lag Beast goes down. He wants some more. He's looking for Pac-Man, and he manages to find him, as that makes it sure that they take 3 down off the back of Shapeshifter, moving in with the Reinhardt. Sponge getting a hack onto the health pack, not allowing for them to utilize that as they do move closer. 10 seconds left on the clock. We're going to be seeing this go into overtime. Mito not by his ultimate just yet, but Z-Lord ready on the shatter if he can find a way to use it. Oh, he knocks down only Michaelele. The shield coming in from Shapeshift to make sure it doesn't do too much, but there's some more. Mito gets the Dragon Blade off the back of a Nano Boost as well as a beat. That is absolutely insane, and they managed to keep this a little bit longer. The Clutch Meisters of Goliath Gaming right now, as Sponge goes down. Squishy only one left over there, and not allowing ATK.unIdentified to keep the point any longer. Although pushing 67 meters is going to allow for quite a bit on the flip. I did expect that to go all the way though for ATK.unIdentified. GG, just clutching it out at the last moment. Managing to get the ultimates up. Very impressive play. Moving over, wondering what the composition is going to be from ATK.unIdentified on the defense. Are they going to be able to hold better than Goliath Gaming? Because there was no easy feat there at all. Goliath Gaming playing extremely well with their holds. Pushing them to overtime on not 1, but 2 occasions. Time deficit, not too much.
Ready.
Okay, looking at the defense for ATK.unIdentified. Going with Sponge over on the Widowmaker. So that Squishy can play the Brigitte. Interesting choice of characters here.
Hello.
Keeping the Diva. Keeping Shapeshifter over on the Reinhardt.
Boy.
Making sure that you have the triple support composition that you usually see in a Goats composition. Especially with the Discord orbs from Michaelele, which allow for 30% damage increase on targets that are discorded. One at a time. It does allow for easy pickings if the target priority is correct in your team. The communication is alright. Sponge needs to find a very early pick to make sure that this composition can work. I like the way he stands back here. Lavius, ready for any sort of peek. It doesn't come out. He knows it's safe. Sponge, definitely the player to watch here. If he can find the pick he needs, especially against the dive composition that we do see coming out from Goliath Gaming. Opts for a forward position. Taking it slow as his team is actually moving in here. Chad gets taken out as they want to play from the room, but they weren't able to make the space that they require. Lavius, not too sure exactly where Squishy was. Squishy's trying to just find some damage now as the rest of his team, sadly, not getting enough value out of their push there. Michaelele picks up one though, and he needs to find some more Lagbees. Discorded, if he can find some sort of utilization off of this. Lavius still trying to find the picks as well. Both Widows not applying the impact that I would have expected from them, but definitely creating the space as the teams have to play around it. Mito getting out on very low life. Lagbeast, Severin playing aggressive towards the side of ATK.unIdentified as they push back onto Z-Lord, who's trying to back off, manages to, allowing for quite a lot of space to be created for Goliath Gaming. Shapeshifter needs to start getting what we know him for back into the scene, which is making some space. Mito comes in with the Dragon Blade. He does get nano boosted, and he's trying to find some more. Shapeshifter wants to swing the hammer and get some value. He has Earth Shatter ready, but he needs to break the shield as he does end up going down underneath the damage from Mito and Z-Lord. And right now, Goliath Gaming are just looking so strong on the point here. Losing Lavius, not what they want, but I can't see them losing this fight unless we see something nutty from side Squishy, and Michaelele popping the Transcendence here. Z-Lord comes in with the Primal Rage, hoping to get some more value out of that, but struggling a little bit as Pac-Man displays. Shapeshift lands a shadow onto 4 players. Dizzy throws in the self-destruct, hoping to get Devlin out the mech, which he manages to do, and they're going to be holding this point for a little bit longer. 2 minutes, still on the clock for Goliath Gaming. That's a lot of time, especially in this type of situation, but time isn't really of the essence when you have Squishy ready with the rally, Chad coming up on the sound barrier any moment now, and Sponge already on the Graviton Surge, allowing for the rest of the team to just utilize so much of the cleave that they're representing from the composition. Mito swapping over to the Pharaoh though, wants to make sure that he can deal with it, but Michaelele lands the Discord very early in the fight. Wants to find a way to grab Mito. Aims for Pac-Man now instead, but their team's not able to do it. Sponge, quite a bit of charge, but not finding a way to use it correctly, as Michaelele has to back out. Manages to find Mito though, and this is where ATK.unIdentified managed keeping it together once more, shedding off 50 seconds plus from the clock of Goliath Gaming, potentially looking to grab a full hold here. Lavius did swap off the Widow in that previous fight, now on the Ashe. Hoping to find a way to deal with the Goats, Zen Goats composition of ATK.unIdentified. Sponge on the Zarya, been doing extremely well, gets quite a lot of damage there, but Sponge still has the Graviton Surge ready if he's able to find the place to use this. And here it comes out. Out comes Graviton Surge. Z-Lord only player caught in it, but he gets taken down almost instantaneously. Mito still dealing some damage from above, but he's not able to actually get the kills off of it, which is absolutely tragic for Goliath Gaming. As we do move over to 35 seconds left on the clock, there's potential for one more push as Mito gets a double, taking a lot of damage, and Sponge takes him out. Plenty of charge to deal with damage there, and it's getting extremely tough for Goliath Gaming to actually push into this. Shapeshifter goes down, but self-destruct from Dizzy doesn't find anything. Sound Barrier comes up from Lagbeast. They want to make sure that they're able to keep it a little bit longer. Sponge goes down, and there they have it as ATK.unIdentified only have 2 players coming in. It's 2 of their supports. They're going to be moving into overtime though, unless Mito can find a way to take them out beforehand. Channel, Lucio now, Graviton Surge comes out, Rocket Barrage comes down on that as well, and there we go, make that 2, potentially more, as Michaelele pops the Transcendence to try to keep the team alive. Earth Shatter comes down, Chad gets knocked down as well, and ATK.unIdentified so close to a full hold, pushing Goliath Gaming to overtime. But Goliath Gaming coming out on top as they do manage to get the first point and another 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock for their assault over to the second point of Route 66. Mito in the sky, working very well with Pac-Man's damage boosts on the Mercy. Lavius, hoping to probably get some of that love as well. Ooh, finding not one but 2 headshots. If he can find some more, it's going to be quite devastating. Bob does come out, but Bob bounces off of the corner, not able to get the charge damage and knock up. Although Lavius and Mito still clearing out the fight completely. Rally up from Squishy. As we do see Valkyrie coming out from the side of Pac-Man as they manage to just steamroll through that fight a bit. Maikelele caught out of guard alongside Squishy, having to back out in the situation, making it quite difficult for the side of ATK.unIdentified. Although, bit of a change here. Squishy switching over to the Widowmaker, hoping to counter pick Mito, who is currently in the sky. If he's able to get the right angle, it's going to be absolutely devastating to the side of Goliath Gaming. But Rocket Barrage at the ready. Graviton Surge, another one ready as well. Does not take them a lot of time to get what they need. Maikelele kept out of the fight, looking quite low. Of course, 60 seconds remaining, not what you want to hear if you're Goliath Gaming here. Shadow comes down, Lag Beast gets knocked out, but he manages to get the sound barrier in beforehand, and Bob comes in to the Graviton Surge alongside the Rocket Barrage, and they've put in a lot of ults into this. Their economy is a little bit screwed, but they don't even have to worry about that as they do manage to push the point. Another minute 30 on the clock, getting put up to 2 minutes in total. As right now, Goliath Gaming looking favored on the assault compared to what we saw from Unidentified. Did not manage to complete the map. Managed to put them into overtime. No overtime for the last push here applied onto Goliath Gaming. Not just yet. Shapeshifter wanting to get aggressive. Doesn't have a shadow, but playing as if he did. Sponge has the Graviton Surge. Rez comes out onto Mito, but Squishy did find the shot. Very important. Maikelele goes in with the anti-nade. Oh, gets Mito though. And this is where ATK.unIdentified, this is the brawl compositions I'm talking about that they favored with. As soon as you put them inside a box or an enclosed space, Shapeshifter, the amount of space that he creates is just enough for them to completely turn the opposing team upside down. Lavius on the Widowmaker now, hoping to deal with Squishy as it makes it difficult for Mito to get the space he needs. Swapping over to the Hanzo as he knows that Squishy's definitely going to be finding some of those shots. Oh, get Squishy with the headshot. Once Maikelele, can he find it as Maikelele misses the sleep? Uses his Bardic Grenade on himself to keep himself alive. Z-Lord moving forward as the rest of Unidentified had to back off in that situation. Bit of a poke phase coming out from both sides. Mito getting probably one of the cheekiest reses we've seen this leg. Over onto Mito from Pac-Man. Oh, Squishy wants to chase him down, taking so much damage from that massively charged beam. Projected barrier does go out. And he's looking for Lavius. Interesting seeing Zarya chase him down, but it's definitely something that can happen. They're so close. Both teams neck and neck. 15 seconds. Shapeshifter lands a shatter onto 3. Shapeshifter going to be going straight through the side of Z-Lord and Severin, making sure that they cannot approach the point. 6 of ATK.unIdentified still kept up. Pac-Man uses Valkyrie, but he gets body blocked from Shapeshifter, and Route 66 goes to ATK.unIdentified. So close. Look at how close that was. Neck and neck, 1-1 as we complete our second map of the night.
Play of the game.
Mito, well-deserved player of the game here, over onto the Genji. Absolutely insane play. Oh, I'm ready for these next maps here as we do head toe to toe. 1-1, should I say? Goliath Gaming getting them next map choice as they do take Route 66 away from Goliath Gaming. We'll have to see what our third map is going to be. It's the escort map. Does go to unidentified. Hearing the crowd in the back here over at ATK Arena. Yelling about the last fight there as we do see unidentified taking the win. We'll have to see what the next map is going to be decided by Goliath Gaming. Oh, I'm actually a bit speechless at how close that was. I expected some good matches here, but the quality that we're seeing tonight is just beyond my expectations. And we're going to be seeing, for our assault map of the night, we are going to Hanamura.
Traveling to Hanamura. Initiating match.
Oh. Okay, as we're loading in, just going to be turning up some volume here. Get this request every now and then. And how can I deny you all for some more lovely sounds? Louder into your ears so that you can get as excited as I do.
Ready for battle.
Both teams 1-1. Goliath Gaming versus ATK.unIdentified. Some of the closest matches we've seen of the league. Not just for this leg, but geez, even in the past, I don't know if I've seen matches that close. Just to talk about what we see on the scoreboard a bit here for the leg. Right now, 3 teams in Premier Division undefeated. Energy Eden, Goliath Gaming, and Unidentified. This is where we see one of the teams lose a series. On the defense, Mito, Pac-Man in the sky, once again, opting for the Pharmacy. They want to find some value here on the first defense, but interesting one, we might see some leapfrogging here from Sponge, opting for the Symmetra. Only problem is, Mito on the fire right now makes it a little bit difficult. As they do move through, they're going to be moving on to the point. They want to get some value out of this as soon as possible. Mito taking an interesting route. Sponge getting thrown off the point right away as we do see Dizzy at a lot of charge, trying to get some more damage in alongside Shapeshifter, Severin, and Z-Lord. The only sides of Goliath Gaming left, and they managed to take it. Managing to actually defend that very high velocity approach coming in from the side of ATK.unIdentified. Sponge now switching over to the Tracer. Wanting some value from this as they opt to go through the right side, keeping the Reaper in their composition. Mito in the sky once again. Lavius has infrasights, knows exactly where they are, knows that they're all together. Sponge backing off very, very quickly. The team does not want to show themselves. Lavius drops down to the low ground. Needs to try find some shots, but not quite able to hit them. Movement is just very smooth. As Earthshadow from Z-Lord takes out Chad and he takes another one. Oh my word, Goliath Gaming's defense on Hanamura is absolutely crisp. Squishy alone alongside Sponge is taken out as well. They're slowly breaking through the ranks, but that Earthshadow from Z-Lord just doing so much as we don't see a single tick. Reduced to 2 minutes. 10 seconds on the side of Unidentified. They need to find a way into this. They've tried 2 different solutions. Nano Boost has been used from Chad. Sponge has a Pulse Bomb. Is he going to be able to get it? He starts moving forward. Lavius is what he wants. He doesn't manage to land the Pulse Bomb. That is absolutely tragic as Lavius picks off Squishy in the crackback. He wants some more. Picks up Michaelele as well. And this defense is an absolute fortress from Goliath Gaming. An absolute fortress still. Ready with another 4 ultimates. Pac-Man Just finishing off the Valkyrie there to keep the team alive. But Lavius is going to be coming up over on the infra side very soon. Mito having that rocket barrage alongside Severin coming up on that Graviton Surge to pull them all together. Sponge looking to find a hit onto Mito. He's aware of the situation. He has to take it out. If he can find Lavius, that works for him as well. But right now, they're playing so passively. There's the Graviton Surge as well as the Rocket Barrage. And not one, not two, but make that a 4K as Squishy backs off with his Wraith form. And ATK.unIdentified are reduced to under a minute left. Oh my word. And the stall continues as Michael tries to get a tick, but is spotted far too soon from Goliath Gaming. 45 seconds on the clock, and we might be witnessing a full hold on Hanamura tonight. Right now, Squishy on the Reaper. Needs to start moving forward, finding some picks. Has the Death Blossom. If he can find a way to enter in with this, he is going to be golden. But Lavius still looking for some targets as Earthshatter comes out from the side of Z-Lord. Knocking out a few players, but Shapeshifter cracks back. Getting a few kills. Gets the nano boost as well. Wants to make something work off of it. Mito solo and gets actually hit by his hammer as they do move over to overtime. Get their first tick. Lavius still playing quite sneaky, hoping to get a pick. But Unidentified know that he's there. He's having to back off, and he's not going to be able to get a cheeky pick just yet. Quite sad that the Observer bugged out a bit there in swapping targets. I do apologize everyone watching at home, but moving over to point B. No composition changes just yet. Squishy taking a lot of damage. Michael backing off, but Chad's the one that goes down. Dizzy comes in with the Graviton Surge, and Shapeshifter follows up with a lovely pin over onto Z-Lord, but Lagbeast is the one that takes him out to keep them together a little bit longer. And Mito's damage alongside Lavius is just so high and does not allow for the side of ATK.unIdentified to actually push through the choke that they need to. Fights are ending so quickly. Squishy deciding whether to swap, although he does have Death Blossom ready to utilize. Opts to stick to it. Mito having Rocket Barrage. Lavius still trying to find some early picks. Struggling a little bit. Sponge over onto the Widowmaker. Hoping to find the pick. Gets to the high ground. Both Widow players not knowing where their opponents are and how to utilize it. But look at that Rocket Barrage from Mito, instantly taking out Chad, forcing them to separate. Z-Lord moves down as we do see Valkyrie being picked up by Pac-Man. Mito wants to find some more over here as he does take a lot of damage from the side of Dizzy, and Lavius winning the battle against Sponge, making it very difficult for another approach. 2 minutes still on the clock. Ultimates, none utilized in that push. Hopefully Unidentified can start bringing something around. Lavius finds the pick onto Sponge, delaying the approach a little bit longer for the side of ATK.unIdentified. Chad needs to watch out because Lavius is aware of his location. Finds Squishy. What was that flick? That was so quick, Lavius. Needs to find some more, tries to get some damage in. Struggling a little bit now over onto the tanks though. Almost finding shot onto Chad, but gets knocked into the air just a little bit from Dizzy with his right click on the Zarya. Interesting interaction. And both Widowmakers waiting each other out to use the infra sight. They need to be able to peek each other and use it after the other to make sure that your duration lasts a little bit longer. Right now, Sponge could be caught off guard from Lavius. He's aware of this location, but he's not taking the shots he needs to. He's now popped it, and we hear Lavius use his own infra sight as well. He knows exactly where Squishy's trying to enter from, as he has switched over to the Hanzo. He needs to find a pick onto Mito, but he's just not able to do it at the moment. Sponge no longer having infra sight. Mito just dives directly into him. Takes out Sponge, but Dizzy finding a pick out in the fray, and Z-Lord charges right in, but he's probably going to end up going down to the side of Dizzy. No! What great shield utilization, but the nano boost is just a little bit too much as the rest of the kill feed is lit up from the DPS players of Goliath Gaming. 40 seconds left. A potential last push but it's going to be a dire effort to make it work for ATK.unIdentified. Moving down to 30. They have to play a bit recklessly here. I think that's where Lavius is able to leverage the advantage. The more Unidentified plays recklessly, the more value he gets. Squishy gets body shotted. Not down, not out yet. Lavius has to back off. But ATK.unIdentified need to get onto this point as soon as possible. They're going to be starting their approach. They're moving in from the low ground. And Mito gets slept, as well as the sound barrier coming out from the side of Mekalele. But Shapeshifter ends up getting taken down from Z-Lord. Lagbeast pops out with his own sound barrier, keeping the team alive a little bit longer. Pac-Man getting a res onto Mito. Is going to not allow them to do much. Both grabs on Surge coming out. Z-Lord caught in one, but Dizzy caught in the other one. And that is the fight over for ATK.unIdentified. And Goliath Gaming managing to get a fantastic hold here. Although, wait a second, they want to last a little bit longer. Sponge goes down alongside Chad. Lavius getting a triple kill there. As round one ends without a contest properly on the point coming in from ATK.unIdentified. They might be shaking in their boots a little bit because the pressure being applied from Goliath Gaming is a lot more than what they've experienced so far in this league. 2019, off to a fantastic start this leg. Seeing a match like this already. Having to see what composition they're going to be trying, because they did try the leapfrog approach over with the Symmetra for Unidentified. Managed to catch them off guard just a little bit. Not taking it just yet. Having to swap out, getting pushed into overtime, but eventually finding their footing. Defense. Now over. Onto the side of ATK.unIdentified. Squishy going in for the Mei. I'm not sure of this composition, but I really want to see it work out. Onto the Mei alongside Sponge playing on the Bastion. Shapeshifter on the Orisa. It's going to allow for them to suit up, bunker up in the situation. Dizzy over on the Diva to use Defense Matrix to make sure Sponge does not go down. Composition from Goliath Gaming. Lavius on the Widowmaker, as expected. Mito over on the Hanzo. I don't think they're ready for this. They notice that something's amiss. None of their players are in the choke. And this is where Sponge can start doing some work. Wall comes out. He tries to get some utilization, but the wall does not manage to keep Z-Lord out of the fight. And now Wall's on cooldown. And Goliath Gaming are able to just approach the point. Such sad timing as Mito actually managing to pick up two of them in Squishy and Michaelele with the Storm Arrows, which makes it an extremely tough fight for ATK.unIdentified to win. Although Sponge over on the Bastion actually gets taken out from Severin. We do see Z-Lord go down, but it might not be enough as ATK.unIdentified looking a little bit scared. Rez comes out onto Sponge. Needs to find a way to get some damage in, but Mito is playing out of his mind. Definitely one of the most mechanically skilled players in South Africa. And he's able to utilize it exactly as he needs. Fantastic little tech there, throwing out the Sonic Arrow at the entrance to make sure they know exactly when their enemies are going to be approaching. Moving back onto the side of the defense, a dive composition is going to be coming out from ATK.unIdentified. Going to make sure that they can take out key targets as soon as possible. As we see Lagbeast leading the charge and little to no life at all. Does get taken down due to that, and Mito goes down as well. Not too sure what he was thinking as the Earth Shadow lands onto two, but there's not enough of a follow-up. Sponge just shredding down their team and making sure that they do not get one tick, because that is all Goliath Gaming needs in 6 minutes. An extremely large order for ATK.unIdentified. Hopefully, Sponge is going to be the key to success alongside Squishy, stalling them out a little bit longer. Does have Blizzard ready to make sure that they can immobilize the entire enemy team. He throws out the Blizzard correctly here. Wall comes out first. They don't manage to get an early pick. Squishy quite upset about that, noticeably so. So they do move out of the choke. And there comes the Blizzard. Only Z-Lord gets picked up by it. Lagbeast on the point. They can't allow for a single pick. They have to make sure that the tick does not get taken. opting for the dive composition to make sure of that. Sponge and Lavius managing to find some trades, but Sponge taking out Lavius makes sure that they cannot approach this point any longer. It's Pac-Man opting to jump off the edge, and Sponge finding some more to delay the respawns a little bit longer for the side of ATK.unIdentified. Making sure that they have as much time as possible as we do tick down from 5 minutes, 12 seconds. Sights coming out from both Widowmaker players. Lavius using his one after Sponge, and knowing that Sponge is not looking in that direction at the moment. Ultimates. 5 ultimates up and ready to go for Goliath Gaming. Lavius finds Squishy. That's no wall. Sponge. These get taken down very soon as they do play extremely aggressively. Out comes the jump from Shapeshifter. Sound Barrier comes out from Lag Beast, as well as we see the Graviton Surge. There's Dragon Strike onto that, but it doesn't manage to hit the mark. Self-Destruct comes in, does not find any players. Michaelele, last-ditch effort with the Transcendences. Right now, not enough picks being taken. I've said that Unidentified are favored in these brawl compositions, but right now Goliath Gaming are doing extremely well as the Shadow comes out to allow for Severin to just completely fill the kill feed up. And here we have Goliath Gaming taking it, and Hanamura going to Goliath Gaming, putting them up 2-1 against ATK.unIdentified. Things are getting a little bit dicey.
Play of the game.
Hanamura, very tough map. Salt maps, 2CP, often the toughest of maps to play due to the delays that you get and the way that economy works in both your hero uptime as well as what we see coming in from the ultimates expended.
Epic.
Looking very
I
good
always hit my mark.
for the side of Goliath Gaming right now. Very impressed with what I'm seeing. ATK.unIdentified not out just yet, as now they do get to select what they would like over on the side of the hybrid map. Mito just, I have to talk about this man, playing out of his mind on the Hanzo there, opening up all the space possible, seeing the defense from ATK.unIdentified, utilizing that Bastion, Orisa, Diva composition. I think it definitely could have worked, but having the Mei there and not being able to isolate a single target at the choke there with the Mei wall is the detriment to the composition that they had there. Without that, makes it's so tough for that composition to work, and we saw the way the Goliath Gaming just ran right through it. However, I do have confirmation on the map that we're going to. It is going to be Blizzard World. This map, I've said it before, that often not seen too much, but definitely on the uptick as teams are starting to decide on strategies that they want to use on the map, decide on ways that they want to play it. We'll have to see, of course, with Unidentified selecting this as their map, how well they are able to show up. Right now, match point. Oh. Sorry about that. I see that on my overlay, it has detected it as a draw. Not what I wanted it to do. RTC6 did go to the side of Unidentified. I do apologize about that. I had someone come through and tell me how incorrect I was. Thank you very much to Sigs. Do appreciate that sorting out there. But right now, teams taking a little bit of a break here between the map. They want to make sure that they have all their tactics in line, make sure that everything's out the way so that they can manage to get the win here. Of course, Goliath Gaming must be feeling very good here, especially because ATK.unIdentified have been showing up really well this leg, finishing 3rd at Comic-Con last year, whilst Goliath Gaming not making it into the top 3, being taken out by 2CP before then. ATK.unIdentified need to find their way on Blizzard World. with it being their selection, I can definitely see something coming out. We've seen good things from them before over on this map. But Goliath Gaming, revitalized roster, playing out of their minds tonight, making sure that Shapeshifter, even Shapeshifter, possibly one of the top main tanks in South Africa for making space for his team, is not even allowed to do that. Not to take anything away from Z-Lord, absolute champion on the Reinhardt, but Shapeshifter's just been making more space for his team from what I've seen in this leg. And not allowing for him to do that, and such a big struggle for Unidentified because they play around that quite a bit. Allowing for Sponge and Squishy to completely pop off in their DPS roles. But hopefully Unidentified are going to be finding a way to shut down Goliath Gaming's tyranny that we're seeing tonight. Interesting thing I'd like to mention here, something that we've seen throughout tonight are so many different compositions, and from let's let the announcer talk. From what we've seen in the previous patches lately, there's been a lot of controversy over the viable compositions, mostly being the GOATS composition, the go all tanks and supports. But from what we've seen tonight, doesn't seem to be the case. Both teams changing up compositions a lot. We've seen so many different variations and so many different innovations in compositions, and even a return of dive. So, Blizzard World, out from the Hearthstone Tavern, your attackers will be entering either through the Lost and Found Vikings or through the entrance of Stormwood underneath the Flight of Duskwood. Then branching paths begin as they try to cap the first point next to Snacks from us. Defenders allowed quite a lot of space here, coming in the high ground by the save boat here. Not often utilized here, but able to get quite an interesting angle onto the point. And Flight of Duskwood allows to defend the entrance from both the Lost and Found Vikings over here, as well as the initial entrance. Have to see the composition that we're seeing from Goliath Gaming, going in with Lavius and Mito once again on the Genji and the Widowmaker. Severin, Z-Lord playing in the front lines with the Ryan Zarya composition. And Pac-Man Lagbeast sticking to the tried, told, truthful Honor Lucio composition. Moving over to the side of Unidentified, they're coming in with a straight Zen Goats composition, which could potentially have a bit of a struggle against Mito over on the Genji. Gets a lot of ultimate charge by straighting through them, but they're playing extremely aggressive. Anti-nade from Pac-Man lands on them. Dizzy almost takes Pac-Man up, but he manages to escape by the skin of his teeth. Shapeshifter wants to move forward, wants to take out Z-Lord. If he goes down, that's not going to allow a lot of space as he charges right back to his team. Although, oh my word, Shapeshifter is taking them both out of the point there, and Lagbeast gets knocked off from Sponge's flail. Oh my word. That was so quick from Unidentified, and it looks like that little break of discussion that they were able to get here between the map is exactly what they needed. Pac-Man goes down to Squishy, and 5 minutes 30 on the clock. This is going to be a tough one for Goliath Gaming to deal with, as right out the gates, Unidentified playing extremely aggressively and very well together as a team. Mito back into the fire. Unidentified have had trouble with this earlier on in the series. However, is the Pharaoh going to work in this situation? Michaelele has been seen able to take him down before. Dizzy also playing nice and aggressive as the whole team moves forward. Lots of ultimate charge from Mito, as we do see Sponge and Shapeshifter going down, the two most important roles in the GOATS composition, in your Reinhardt and your Brigitte, not allowing for the push to continue. The amount of damage Mito is outputting onto the team, allowing for all the space in the world for them to follow up. Unidentified need to find a way to deal with Mito in the sky, as they are going to be struggling with this composition. No swaps coming out just yet. Shapeshifter ready with the Earth Shatter if he can find a way to use that, as they do move through the Flights of Duskwood, going in underneath, moving directly onto the point, making sure that the least amount of damage possible from Mito can be applied. Severin has Graviton Surge but gets knocked down by Shapeshifter. They need to take out Z-Lord. Can they take out Severin as well? And neither go down, as we do here. The Nano Boost coming through as well, but not able to utilize it where they need it. Z-Lord is Nano Boosted, but right now, he's just stuck between a rock and a hard place as Sponge. And Z-Lord are dealing so much damage to him, but he's being kept alive as Mito shreds them down from above. Lavius, moving in aggressively, has the Dragon Strike ready. If he can find the right angle, he can shut it down on an ATK.unIdentified. Severin, also ready on the Rocket Barrage, has two potential combos in this team composition, either with the Rocket Barrage or with the Dragon Strike. Z-Lord, ready to go with the Earth Shatter in absolutely no time. If he can find an entrance to use it on Shapeshifter, and he's looking for it too. Yeah, Graviton Surge comes out from both sides. Dragon Strike following up, but actually missing the mark as Maikelele pops his Transcendence to make sure that he doesn't manage to get in from it. Shadow comes in from Z-Lord. Shapeshifter's knocked down as well as charged. It's right against the wall. Z-Lord's in a little bit too deep, and he does end up going down due to the Discord being applied to him on Maikelele. And this is where Zengoat absolutely shines, able to push through the point a little bit longer. Mito not using Rocket Barrage in that fight, knowing that he can get more value out of it in the next one. However, when is he going to be using it? Because Dizzy also having the self-destruct ready. Shapeshifter having the shatter ready. Oh, knocked in the air, but he's just looking to land it. He lands the shatter of his life, knocking down Severin. Right now, Unidentified have to win this fight after a shatter. That extravagant lag beast looking very low, and Z-Lord left on his own. ATK.unIdentified really coming back with a vengeance. Don't want to allow Goliath Gaming to take it any further. They want to make sure that they are the ones that will dominate this leg and stay undefeated. Squishy playing extremely aggressive. Wants to try to get some damage onto Lavius before he's moved back. Trying to find him, but it's not actually there at the moment. Lavius now trying to find the right shot. Doesn't manage to shoot as they were on his crosshair. A little bit of hesitance there. Mito discorded. Sight does come out from Sponge, but Lavius picks him out. He wasn't looking in that direction, and that's just such a shame for him. Squishy very low on charge, and Mito is going to be having some action here. Shape does get knocked down from Z-Lord. Gets a lot of healing, but it's just not enough as Z-Lord and Severin once again steamrolling through together. Quite a lot of synergy built between the two of them playing together on Goliath Gaming. Able to play extremely aggressively together. Now, Sponge. Oh, pause comes out. Can't be sure what the reason is just yet. But absolutely insane. I mean, looking at the compositions here. Oh, looks like we see a DC from Goliath Gaming. Lavius disconnecting, luckily. Did use the Infrasight in the previous fight. Hopefully not too much lost in that. But this could be, as unfortunate is, this could be ATK.unIdentified's opportunity to turn things around. Looking at the ultimates that they have up, Dizzy, Squishy, do have a combination with the Graviton Surge and the Self-Destruct. If they're able to use that, they could possibly get a large amount of kills and start moving forward with the push. Makelele, Transcendence, to make sure the team is alive. But in Goliath Gaming, all they have at the moment is Pac-Man's Nano Boost. And the only target I can imagine that being applied to is either Severin or Z-Lord, as they're going to be the main damage dealers in the front line. Lag Beast, 85% towards the sound barrier. And that is exactly what they need in case we do see a bomb come out from Dizzy. If we get a reactionary sound barrier from Lag Beast, given that he's not taking down from Sponge's shots on the Widowmaker just yet, things are going to look quite good for them. Looks like continuing. We do enter back. Lavius has returned. Okay, Sponge trying to find something. Graviton Surge comes out. There's the self-destruct from Dizzy. They have to turn around, but they take so much damage out of it. Shapeshifter's Cleave picking up 2, and Squishy getting all the charge he wants here as he chases down Pac-Man. Doesn't land the sleep. Right now, Mito on his own here. Very close to his Rocket Barrage, but Unidentified know exactly where he is. He needed to back off there. And oh my word, Squishy takes him out with the right click on the Zarya. Lavius right now. Shame to see it disconnect, but he comes back, takes out Sponge extremely swiftly. And he wants to find Chad. One body shot. Make that another one, please. Does take him out. Not allowing Unidentified to push through. 2 minutes left on the clock. Losing 2 players that early into the fight. allows for the rest of the team to completely move forward without any holds barred. Severin, 88 charge, has Gravitational Surge ready, can combo alongside Mito on the Rocket Barrage. Lavius is going to be coming out any moment here over on the infra sites. Disconnected but not out the game just yet. Could be a little bit cocky. Oh my word! What was that, Lavius? Just peeking over the shield, finding the shot, infra sight, still ready to go. He wants to make sure he can use that against Sponge, who doesn't not have his one just yet. 6 stacks of ultimates ready over on the side of Goliath Gaming. Point, busy ticking back. Here we have Sponge. Last ditch effort. He needs to find some value out of this. He's struggling a bit as we do have sights coming in from Lavius as well, who is watching Sponge at the moment. Lavius needs to peek if Sponge can find this. Lavius still has sights. No picks being taken from that. 5 ultimates still on the side of Goliath Gaming to the 3 over onto the side of Unidentified. Sponge trying to find the right angle. There we go. Oh, Rocket Barrage comes down. Sponge needs to get the kill, but he's not able to because the protective barrier is applied. But Shapeshifter comes in with the Earth Shatter, knocking down 4, 5 of the players. Shapeshifter charges in, but not quite finding a pin. Zelo charges back, and it looks like it's just a smorgasbord of charges. Shapeshifter trying to find some more, but what a fantastic Gravitational Surge from Squishy! Huge charges and managed to complete the map with 37 seconds left on the clock. Round 1 complete of Blizzard World. 3rd map of the night. Goliath Gaming need to push this one all the way to bring it back. It's not an easy situation to be in. Only 37 seconds.
Initiating match.
Does make it a little bit difficult. A little bit easier for ATK.unIdentified. Whew, I need to catch my breath back. This has been absolutely mental. Now we're gonna have to see what ATK.unIdentified decide to do
Ready for battle.
over on the defense. Thinking of going with the Far Mercy at the moment. Squishy and Chad definitely have a lot of synergy together on the Far Mercy. Sponge opting to go the Mei instead of Squishy. We saw Squishy before on the Mei. Probably hoping to get a lot of value off of it, but we'll have to see if it's exactly what they need. Shapeshifter not moving off of the Rhine at the moment, knowing how well it's been working for him. Insane shatters being dealt from this player, creating the space that I previously said he was unable to create due to GG's pressure. But very similar composition coming out. Lavius over on the Genji, which we usually see Mito on. Wants to play aggressively. Unidentified keeping themselves hidden. Squishy does get noticed from Lavius. Missiles are going to be coming down, but Lavius playing very cheeky. Squishy, damage boosted at the moment, needs to start finding the right targets, as we do see. The duel is going to be coming up between them. Chad dropping down, as right now high ground advantage does go over to Unidentified. Back to them. Mito and Squishy managed to get the hit. Direct hit. Make that 2 direct hits over onto Squishy. No healing can get you through that. And Mito right now getting damaged himself, but they are moving through. Shapeshifter needs to start finding some value as the shield is breaking. Mito gets taken down from Michaelele, and now Shapeshifter can start dueling Z-Lord, who's looking extremely low. Bardic Grenade keeps him up a little bit longer as Lavius dives into the backline, trying to find some more over on his Cybernetic Ninja. Losing quite a lot over here. And Squishy applying all the damage that they require in the air. Oh, Severin does get taken out. Really well placed rockets from Squishy. Wanting to take things back. Not allow Mito to revel in his victory in the air that we saw at the start of the round. Lavius having to run scared. He needs to find some more value. Did pick off Michaelele, but it wasn't enough as Michaelele also swapping off of the Zenyatta over to the Lucio. Interesting, as we did see Michaelele get a pick into the sky previously. Blizzard already comes out from Sponge. making sure that they cannot approach. Lavius is frozen, but there's not going to be a follow-up. Z-Lord charges in extremely slowly after the freeze. And Michaelele is going to be able to take him down alongside Sponge. Such a deadly combination as Mito still trying to deal in the sky. Takes out Squishy once more. Dizzy, not very nice. And Michaelele takes out Mito once again. He doesn't need to be on Zenyatta to do that. And Lavius is having a field day right now on the cybernetic ninja that everyone loves. Shooting back icicles. Oh, can he find it? Does not manage to take out Chad as he gets the res into Michaelele. Their shatter comes out from Z-Lord, but nothing comes from it. Lavius is not able to do something with it. Nano Boost comes out alongside the blade, but he's just being delayed so much from Sponge, slowing him down on the Mei left click. They are moving forward. Dizzy throws out the self-destruct. Z-Lord picks off 2 off the back of that as Squishy finds Pac-Man. Point is ticking up. Mito still getting quite a lot of value. Wants to find Squishy once again in the air as Lavius is also trying to deal with him on the ground right now. Omo, is that another blizzard from Sponge? Severin using his personal barrier to make sure that doesn't affect him too much, and Squishy comes in with the rocket barrage just to keep them at bay a little bit longer. Only a minute left on the clock, and Severin and Lavius are going to be stalled a little bit longer. They're opting to let Lavius go though. And 50 seconds left on the clock. Unidentified looking so good right now on Blizzard World's defense. Z-Lord needs to try to get some ult charge here. He's so close to that shatter. And if he can land a fat one, Unidentified could potentially go down. Unidentified's positioning very good at the moment. Miso alongside alongside Pac-Man. Looking for something here. Oh, lots of damage onto Squishy. Can he find him? As Squishy is starting to play quite sneakily. There's Shatter comes out from Shapeshifter. And there's another one for Z-Lord, knocking down 2 in the back, but the sound barrier had already come out from Michaelele. Shapeshifter looks so low, but takes out Z-Lord, and this is where Unidentified can start playing back. They need to start taking the map back, and this is exactly what they're doing. Shapeshifter playing so deep. He's going to be able to get some more. He gets slept from Pac-Man, but GG cannot approach as they're down to a second. Mito does not manage to touch. Unidentified take Blizzard World. 4th map. We're going to see a map 5 between these teams as map 4 goes to Unidentified. Shapeshifter, this is going to be the shatter that made me lose my mind. Look at him go, not landing the pin. Turns around, gets Lavius mid-air. And he's just going to absolutely, oh, not even the shatter, just ends it all with his hammer. Oh my word. Interesting seeing that one go 3-0 in the favor of ATK.unIdentified. Looking extremely, extremely strong on Blizzard World. Absolutely insane. Now, usually, this is where I start talking about the final map. The fact that Goliath Gaming get to choose it so that they get the advantage. However, rules state that out of the control maps that you see at the start, there is only 2 choices. If you play Nepal first, your 5th map is going to have to be Nepal. If you play Nepal first, 5th map is going to have to be Busan. I can't believe I messed it up. Got all that dramatic energy and just, it's gone. Anyways, team's probably taking a bit of a breather again after a match like that. Goliath Gaming might feel a little bit wounded from this one. Extremely tough beats coming in from the side of ATK.unIdentified. Showing up, showing that you can be 2 maps up, you can be on match point, but give us a map that we choose, give us Blizzard World, and we will show you how it's done. Every other map, first 3, neck and neck, no contesting whatsoever over on Blizzard World for Unidentified. Players must be in such a state right now. So much is on the line. Whether or not they will be undefeated is decided on map 5 here tonight. ATK.unIdentified just taking Blizzard World probably high off the victory of 3-0. Goliath Gaming were in the lead just before that. I don't think they're down and out just yet. Whew. I'm actually out of words. I should have so much to say, but this is just... I'm actually enjoying this match so much from a spectator point of view, even though I'm casting it. It's absolutely insane. I mean, let's look at the compositions we can see from Busan. If we go over to downtown, I can accept to see a very fantastic Widowmaker brawl between them, or should I say a Widowmaker duel.
Now traveling.
However, often teams do opt for the different variations of goats. Although, we are going to be heading over to Sanctuary first. Now this map often... I see a lot of different compositions from teams coming out here. Different goats variations work very well because, of course, it being a control map, you have to play in close quarters. You have to make sure that your team is playing together. However, because of the potential long sightlines, if you position yourself correctly down over here as you enter into the control point section of the map, double sniper compositions have been working very well, especially something with Ashe, Hanzo, Widowmaker, some mix of that. Even a Pharah works as well, especially if your opponents are coming in with a goats variation. As right now, talking about the Pharah, both teams opting to go with it. We've seen this repeating throughout. Pharah definitely coming back into the limelight, even though both teams have very strong Widowmaker players. It's not stopping them at all from playing this. As I did mention, the Ashe, Lavius wants to make something happen, show that he is not to be reckoned with. Also, a very good counter to Pharah, so probably expecting that. Sponge over on the Hanzo. Say it again, signature pick for this player. Hoping to make sure he can find the picks he needs. Very good showings on Sanctuary as well. Mito in the sky, raining from above. Taking a bit of damage. Control point has unlocked though. Over here, Squishy in the backline. Damage boosted from Chad. Needs to find a way onto it right now. Ticks over to Goliath Gaming. It's Mito still trying to duel Squishy in the sky. On the ground, Dizzy trying to find the right direction, but Shapeshift takes out Z-Lord with a fire strike. Mito comes back to find Sponge. Wants to find some more Shapeshifter. Not looking too healthy. Dizzy also looking a little bit low as Unidentified do take the point. And they're managing to find some more off of that as well as Squishy takes out Severin. And something else I've mentioned before that I have to bring up again. Unidentified very good at pulling a point back once the opposing team has taken it. They know the positioning of their opposing team once they get that point, and they're able to action on it extremely quickly. Lavius needs to try find some earlier picks on the Ashe here. Right now he's struggling with the pressure that's being applied. He's trying to get some blanket damage in. Mito trying to do the same as he gets back close to his ultimate. Definitely ahead. Oh my word, Squishy! Managing to fight back in the situation. Previous maps, there was Mito winning this, and Sponge comes in with the Dragon Strike off the back of a Shatter from Shapeshifter, who is going to make sure that they cannot get anywhere near this Goliath Gaming. Looking so strong over on Nepal, but not looking too great over on Sanctuary. 60% ticking upwards for the side of ATK.unIdentified. Ultimate's coming up. Mito's going to be having a rocket barrage, but Squishy has his one as well. Whoever uses it first is at a big disadvantage. Z-Lord ready to go with that Earth Shatter, playing aggressive, but his team not quite with him. They're not playing together properly here. Oh my word. Rocket barrage comes out from Mito just to push them back a little bit. And Squishy finds Lavius. This is the entrance that Unidentified need to make sure that the point cannot flip. Z-Lord solo shatters for Michaelele, but he manages to escape it. Ends up going down to it though. Oh my word, such a bad use of resources, but it actually turns out quite well for them. Z-Lord tries to get the pin, doesn't manage to do it, but the point's still ticking over for Goliath Gaming. Squishy in the back with the rocket barrage, not finding any picks off of it, but Sponge has him covered as he follows up to get two. Severin, as they're going to be going back 94% for Unidentified. I can't see them touching this. Graviton Surge is ready to go. He does manage to get it. Gets quite a few players caught in it, but goes down to 100 health in absolutely no time. And Dragon Strike comes through onto the point. Mito wants to touch. He needs to delay it a little bit longer. Overtime's ticking away. Can they touch it in time? Michaelele is there. And Earthshatter comes in from Shapeshifter. Z-Lord gets taken out in absolutely no time. And Unidentified are not holding back. Pac-Man gets the res onto Z-Lord, but it's not going to be enough as he's alone on the point now. Oh my word. Live Gaming trying everything they can. ATK.unIdentified are now on match point. If they can take the next round, they take the series, continue through the leg unidentified, and then we have to see how they match up against Energy Eden. Goliath Gaming, though, it's not over just yet. There's still a lot of space for them to take this as we head downtown Busan. Composition still very good Farah map. Opting for the Farah as well as the Widowmaker. Composition received very often. Both teams almost the same, but Shapeshifter wants to make sure that he is able to dive alongside Dizzy. The high ground on this map, I can show you right away, up along here, gives you the view that you need for not only the point, but also for your opponent's entrance. Unidentified, taking it easy, going through the low ground, as we do see the main entrance being used from Goliath Gaming. Mito playing low to the ground, knowing that they have a Widowmaker player in Sponge, who right now needs to find Lavius as they have a duel. Trying to find the shots, gets a shot on Mito, but he's getting healed up. Severin, first one to get a kill, first blood, goes to Goliath Gaming as Resurrection is dropped as well, and Lavius doing so much on the Widowmaker here, opening up all the space. Shapeshifter looking a little bit low. Not in the best position for him. Lavius now having to jump out, running a little bit scared, thinking that there's going to be another leap. Point has not gone to either side just yet. Shapeshifter alongside Chad, Dizzy, Michaelele, Severin, only one on the point. Right now, Sponge is back on the Widowmaker, and Unidentified managed to actually take the point first. They're going to make sure that Goliath Gaming are potentially not going to get anything over onto this point. Show them a bit of domination here. Z-Lord still sticking on the Reinhardt, not wanting to play around the verticality. Shapeshifter, going for the high ground, does get knocked off by the concussion missile coming in from Mito, has to run scared, doesn't actually get punished for it. And that is a massive oversight that I would expect to see. Goliath Gaming abused Mito, trying to find Squishy, but Squishy right now has a bit of an advantage from his positioning, knowing that he doesn't have to worry about it, but losing his mercy. If Pac-Man goes down here, it's going to be tragic, but right now Lagbeast popping with... Oh, Dizzy not finding anything off of that, and Lagbeast using his sound barrier to make sure the team is staying alive. A massive use of ultimates coming in from the side of Goliath Gaming. Pac-Man popping the Valkyrie as well, a little bit late, and a little bit not needed in that fight. Bit of a struggle as they are going to be coming back with only 2 ultimates. Over on the side of Unidentified, potential of 4 if we don't see an early pick coming in from Lavius, who does find Sponge with a headshot. Sponge didn't know he was going to be sitting in that location. Finds another headshot onto Shapeshifter, making it very difficult. Sponge is going to be getting res and manages to pop. Oh, Chad takes damage, but the headshot is not landed. Sponge has the infrasight, and so does Lavius. They want to peek each other, but right now they need to start watching out for what the rest of the team is doing. High tier duel coming out from both these Widowmaker players. Mito playing an interesting position, wanting to find Squishy, but here we go. Michaelele with the sound barrier as they do move forward. Shapeshifter has a lot of health, but it gets taken down very soon. Sponge finds Lavius on the kill feed there, allowing for them to open everything up. They want to pull this point back, and Squishy and Sponge are doing it for the team as Pac-Man gets taken out mid-resurrection, and quite an even percentage here where Unidentified are going to be able to come out on top after this fight. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a delay or a stall onto Severin there, but they're going to allow for Goliath Gaming to try once again. Mito on Hanzo. Going to still be getting a bit of a pocket from the side of Pac-Man, but they need to find very early picks here, and Sponge is not going to allow for that to happen. If he can find Mito's head here, opens up all the space in the world. Lavius not actually in the fight just yet, has not made himself noticed, although Sponge using the infrasight, making sure he knows where it is, and a dive from Shapeshifter onto Lavius causes for them to get the pick. displacing him, allowing for Sponge to manage to take that. Primal Rage comes out as we do head over to 82%. Squishy comes with the Rocket Barrage and he'll self-destruct from Severin if he can find some ticks over, but he doesn't. Point ticking away from Mito. Z-Lord's on the point, but Chaz defending it as self-destruct comes out again. Sponge looking for some more as we do head over to 93% for Unidentified, as if we do not see any form of contesting here, and we don't from Goliath Gaming. Lag not able to touch. ATK Unidentified taking it 3-2, pushing it to 5 maps and turning it around in the end. Absolutely fantastic showing on Busan, taking that 2-0 and remaining undefeated in 2019's VSGaming Premier League Leg 1. What a match. So many plays from both sides. However, ATK Unidentified able to take the win. I'm absolutely speechless from that. I mean, just looking at the way that the fights went, I think Goliath Gaming weren't able to utilize the high ground as much as what we saw from the side of Unidentified. Shapeshifter opting in for the Winston over on Downtown allows for so much value to be had from those high ground positions, especially being able to dive the opposing Widowmaker in Lavius, not allowing for Goliath Gaming to apply the pressure that they needed to apply. Z-Lord getting a lot of damage once he's on the point, but without being able to get onto it, there's a lot of struggle from that. Unidentified really pulling it back together. We almost saw them falling under from the showing of that Goliath Gaming gave us on Hanamura. However, taking it 3-2. What I'm going to do now, give you guys a quick reel of what we saw in the previous matches. Actually, no. Let me give you a different reel. Let me give you the show reel for the different teams, and then I'm going to see if I can get someone in for a quick little interview. Okay, with us tonight, we do have Squishy from the side of ATK Unidentified, feeling quite rough, quite tired, quite exhausted, but overall, absolutely happy about this win, I imagine. Squishy, how are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty exhausted and pretty out of it, to say the least. It was like, oh, what a long game, and I think both teams just had to completely pull out all the stops. Every single one of us had to pull our thumbs out and just, give it all we got. And after a performance like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we were all completely just wanting to sleep.
Absolutely knackered from what I can hear here. But what I want to actually ask you here is, I could see so many times you were dueling Lavius. Lavius being a new player into the scene here, I should know what your thoughts on that were and how you came out on top, because you played extremely well alongside Shapeshifter over on Busan to push out that win and make sure that the space that he was creating before, I mean, I'd say we actually saw that from Blizzard World, he wasn't able to create that space anymore. What would you say was your main method of doing that?
Lavius is a fantastic player, and he was seriously putting on quite the show for us and giving us a lot of trouble. And we just had to readjust, rethink how we were approaching it, and we just made sure that his sightlines were far more narrowed, made sure he wasn't getting the correct positioning or the optimal positioning, putting a lot of pressure on him, making sure that he's just out of the picture first, and then we can move on from that point.
And that's exactly what you guys managed to do to pull out the win here. And I'm going to only give you 2 more questions. I'm not going to keep you here too long. I know you're absolutely exhausted. But what I want to know is, when you were staring down the defeat on Hanamura, I know there was a bit of a break there. Team, I imagine that for ATK.unIdentified, as a team, you guys pulled it together. You said, pull it in, let's discuss this, let's find a way to get this back, because Goliath Game played extremely well on Hanamura. Made it so that you guys struggled quite a bit. What exactly did you guys do to bring it back, and how did it feel once you guys got the win in Blizzard World 3-0?
So before going into the next map, we really needed to collect ourselves, and so it was just a small team chat. We just discussed what our plan is for the next map. We discussed how we're going to deal with the threats that they're pushing out, how we're going to deal with probably either like Widow or a Pharmacy, how our ult usage is going to go, how our positioning is going to go, and just sort of took a breather and took a step back to just start a new match effectively. Score is 0-0, and we're just, going from there.
Resetting not just the emotions that you guys had off of the previous 3 maps, but also just getting all your ducks in a row so you know exactly what you're going to be doing going forward. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I mean, Squishy, thank you so much. We saw you pop off so many times tonight alongside the rest of your team. I just want to say, staying undefeated right now, currently in the VSGaming Premier Division for Leg1 2019. Ending words, how do you feel about it? And do you have any words for Goliath Gaming after this win?
Goliath Gaming really needs a huge round of applause. They were just on fire the whole time, and there was some of those maps were just so close. Some of the points were so close. We were, quaking in our boots. We were absolutely just pulling everything we could to try pull off the win against them. And yeah, going undefeated is, I mean, I haven't had time for the reality to set in, but it feels pretty good. And we hope to, keep that streak, but we'll see.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us here, Squishy. And I'm going to end it off here with a bit of where you can find the teams over on Twitter. Goliath Gaming, you cannot miss them. Their Overwatch team's absolutely fantastic, and we always see announcements coming in from their MGO. On the side of ATK Arena as well as ATK.unIdentified, you can also find them on Twitter at ATK Arena and at unidentified OW. Squishy, what's your Twitter handle again?
It's actually at Squishier Mist.
Okay.
So let's not. I'm not gonna.
Well, it's fine. It's Squishy or Mist, and Mist is not as if you missed your shots, because Squishy doesn't do that. It's Mist as in the water vapor that you get in the mornings. Anyways, moving forward, well done to both teams here, playing out of their minds. That is it from me, Cloudburst, and once again, thank you so much to ATK Arena for allowing me to use their streaming setup. And I'm never going to stop saying this. If you're in Cape Town, pull through. It's in Claremont. It's an absolutely amazing venue, and whenever there are matches, there are viewing parties. So get in here instead of watching at home. As much as we love your viewership, pull through, watch it on the screen, come have the social vibe that esports is all about, and you'll see me again soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Good night.